Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Rhett Sever podcast. Okay, sorry, that was a little weird. So Greg, this is my
Hey.
comedian friend Greg Suarez. We met
Hello.
doing um, open mic stand-up comedy in New York City.
Definitely open mics.
Might
Not a big deal or anything.
yeah, you might know us from the Riff Brothers Cinema podcast, the 2 episodes we've done.
Yeah, that have
But
almost
now
89 viewers in total.
yeah, and most of them shut it off after the first 5 or 10 minutes.
I mean, it's a good 89 people is a good group of people. There's a good chance somebody might have listened to those two things.
A handful of people, which I think means about 3 people in this case, watched the whole thing. So that's pretty cool.
All right, so yeah, I don't think it's likely that they would watch the whole thing and then not want to watch more.
Yeah, so that's why, we're doing more. So
Let's do it.
also, I think it's just because people are preoccupied with, the insurrection and, the attempted
Correct.
overtake of our democracy.
I don't think it's our poor production values. I think it's the real victims of the insurrection trying to overthrow the government are not the dead police officers. It's our podcast, which,
Maybe,
you know,
yeah.
now that Biden's president is going to be a really big deal. We're really going to take off now that Trump's gone. I can feel it.
Now you said then now that we set the president?
Now that Biden is president, he's going to fix everything.
Oh, I thought you were saying president. Actually, that reminds me of that remember when Trump tweeted, "I'm the president"?
The
With,
precedent? Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, with the DEC spelling, which was amazing because he didn't know, he'll probably never be smart enough to realize how amazingly perfect that was. Because he is setting or was trying to set a precedence for fucking Putin in America, right? Like he
He's trying to
basically
set a
set a
precedent
new,
for Russia to take over.
no, just like a dictator, autocrat, whatever in general. Like he
Are you
was trying
saying
to be
precedent
our
or
our Putin, right? President with the DEC in the middle spelling. Presidents, setting a precedence.
a precedent?
Yeah,
You're
how
still saying
set,
president.
right? Wait, I mean I pronounce it wrong.
Yeah,
Precedent, precedent, right? Okay,
president.
setting a precedent,
Yeah, okay.
precedent. Oh, I think I get the subtlety
What
of
is this like a Dr. Seuss podcast?
okay, but it's amazing that he misspelled it that way.
It's not
Because
amazing.
no, yes, it is, Greg, because in a way he wasn't wrong. He was setting
Oh,
a
he
new
was doing a
precedent,
self-fulfilling prophecy. What are you
right? He was setting a new precedent because everybody reporting on him was like, "Oh, there's no precedents for this. He fucking did some bullshit today, and there's no fucking historical reference point for this shit." Oh, and then Michael Beschloff would get on and be like, "Well, in the 1800s, a president tried something like it." you
Are you
know?
saying it's I don't understand though. You're saying it's ironic because he was setting a precedent?
Yeah, because there was
So,
no
you're saying
president
it's
before
ironic
him.
that people are saying everything Trump does is unprecedented.
Right.
Like you're saying he was
Right.
setting a
And so
precedent.
since it's unprecedented, then he's setting a new president, right? That's what you do when when something's unprecedented, right? You're setting a new
I
president.
I
So
I don't
then
see how
what's
the news.
amazing is that he spelt it that way and he's such a fucking idiot, but like he didn't know how right he was. Like
I don't
I think that's pretty
I
amazing.
don't know, dude. I don't think you're on anything.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I don't think it's a sign.
Well, whatever. Whether
You're
you
like the
believe
QAnon
in
guys who are
chaos
like, he picked
theory
up the
or
Fiji water
whether
because
you
the
believe
Fiji
in
water was
chaos
about human
theory
trafficking.
or fucking, what do you call it? What is that word? Predestiny. It doesn't matter. Coincidence, non-coincidence. It was pretty amazing that he spelt it that way, and then everybody
And
kept
then set it
saying
a precedent for being an asshole.
unprecedented. Yeah, like.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing.
Are you being sarcastic?
Yeah.
I think it's funny because like I thought you were in your 20s because you don't act like you're in your
Because I'm
30s.
youthful. Yeah. I act like
But you are in your
I
30s.
still might make some good memories, but I won't. Yeah. I'm in my 30s. Nothing good will ever happen to me again. I don't look forward to things.
Greg, I think it'll be fine. Like
All like
you're
the
pretty good.
youthful fun times that I thought I was gonna have might just not occur.
Well, I'm an assistant for the guy who leads the magnetic fields, and he has a song that says something like everything is over by 23. Like your
You're
life,
still his assistant?
yeah, in like the last half year, like just once a week. But
Oh, how's
I
he
guess
doing?
the song is, yeah, it's great. It's really fun. I don't believe that, like, I don't know.
Are you
It's
sure it's
great.
definitely him and you're not just helping out some guy on Craigslist?
No, do you know what's so crazy is I met him dancing at the bar at Ty's bar.
Yeah, when you said when you were dancing your little gay dance.
Yeah, and so it's a bear bar, so like, yeah.
So all the dancers look
I'm
like
a little
you.
bear cub. So I'm like a dancing bear, like the Grateful Dead thing. But yeah, so like I
Just
just
taking
met
a
him
weird
there,
turn.
and then somebody told me who he was, and I'm like, what? Like I didn't know that was him, because when you listen to a Magnetic Fields record, there's not like pictures of the band everywhere, right? It's one of these indie
Right.
bands where it's like it's all, you know, um drawing artwork or whatever
Well,
on
what's he say about it being over at 23?
just that life is over.
Does
Life's
he seem that way when you interact with him? Are you just like, hey, what's his
I
name?
mean, I think he's obviously being right, smart alecky in a certain sense. He seems
Like
funny. Like
artistic,
he's
he
just
doesn't
a
actually believe
normal,
it.
yeah,
Like,
he's just a normal artistic New Yorker, like
what's his name?
Stephen Merritt.
What's his name?
Stephen
Are you
Merritt.
just like, hey, Steven, how's it going? He's just like, okay, I heard you.
Oh,
Are
I
you ever just
was
like, hey,
asking
Steven, how's it going? What?
yeah. I for some reason I thought you repeated the question, and maybe there was a delay
No,
or
I
something weird.
probably is a delay. Are you ever like, hey, Steven, how's it going? He's like, dude, you heard the song? It fucking sucks. I'm not 23 anymore. It's fucking sucks. And
No,
you're like, oh, I
no,
should have listened. I guess
pretty
I.
no, he's pretty regular, like cynical, artistic New Yorker, you know.
So, do you like working for artists who lie to you?
What? He's not lying. What do you mean?
Yeah, he did lie. He's like, everything's over at 23. And then you're like, oh, but he's just a regular guy. I'm like, no, I want him to be fucking sad. I don't want
Well,
guys
I'm
being
not going
like,
to go on a podcast and then talk about him being sad. Everybody's sad and happy and whatever. Like life's
oh,
complicated. Do you know what I mean? Like everybody's a mixture of everything.
not everybody's a mixture of everything.
Yeah, everybody's on all spectrums, right?
Oh,
Of
you know what we should
life.
have watched is the Darren Aronofsky movie Noah. That was one I actually wanted to see.
Oh, I saw that in the theaters when it came out.
I heard it was wacky.
Well, I mean, it was interesting, like, yeah, like I don't know. I don't think he's religious. He just wanted to tell
No,
a
but that's
specific Bible story, I think.
he was. That's why the one person who I respected, who was actually excited for it, was saying, I think it looks cool because it looks like it's taking Christian mythology and actually treating it as mythology, not like one of the Jesus movies where it's like, oh, we believe this. This movie is apparently more like, oh, this is this iconic timeless story, but let me tell it like it is, like it's a myth, like it's
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that kind of what Christianity does? They,
it
I
should be
mean,
because
within
that's
their
what it
own
is.
mythology that they believe.
What? No, it's
Well, so there,
no,
wait,
it's
explain to me
there's
the
a
difference
no,
then. What's the
no,
difference?
because there's an element of like, oh, it's treating it like it was like the Odyssey or something, or like a work of literature that's being adapted.
Right,
Whereas
right. That's what I got too.
a movie like God's Not Dead is going to be just a bunch of fascist assholes who aren't even technically Christians, but are just using the Christian message to be like, yeah, college professors want to turn people into atheists, and they're going to fail people who are Christians, and
Right,
we
they're
got to
just
have,
anti-education
yeah, they're just
because
fucking
their
idiots.
education stops at the Bible. Yeah,
But they actually make a ton of money, these Christian movies, even though they're not like even
yeah,
advertised in like big theaters, because they have like such a built-in fan base and
yeah,
they look like shitty TV movies. That's the thing. Like the like
yeah.
Bethlehem movie and like the sequel to God's Not Dead or whatever, they make a bunch of money.
And the Left Behind series
Yeah, and those are
with Kirk
crap.
Cameron. Well, are they entertaining to watch just because they're so bad, or?
I've heard Kirk Cameron's Christmas movie is like that.
Oh, okay. In Mormonism, there was this movie, Saturday's Warriors, and that I recommend everybody to look up because it is so corny. Like, you can't get any more cornball than this movie. This is the epitome
Yeah,
of
what's it about?
just like it's a Mormon propaganda movie that is a musical, and it's just really corny and just saying like, oh, love is, there's like the whole predestiny of like lovers meeting in heaven and then meeting on earth, and um
Because
like
Mormonism believes that.
anti-drug and what,
But doesn't Mormonism have like weird beliefs about the afterlife too? That like great things are gonna. There's like
like you rule over your own planet if you're good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Um. There's this Mormon cartoon from like I think it's the '70s or like a vintage Mormon cartoon, and it's like super racist.
And one of them looks like He-Man or something. The
Yeah, I think
people look
so.
like
And it talks
puppet
about how like black
characters.
people aren't like what God intended.
It's crazy because they first let black people hold the priesthood in 1978, which is like, oh yeah, we're just gonna like not go along with the civil rights era. We're gonna wait till the disco era to finally like, it's just so stupid. It just proves that like conservatives are forced.
Maybe that's why they did it. They're just like, damn it. They're like, we need to upgrade our image, and none of these white guys are like pushing the Mormon disco image. They're just not sexy enough, and they're like, oh, fuck, we need black guys.
I know, I don't know why it took to the disco era, but it did because they're racist. And yeah, it just proves that like basically liberals, this is how history works. Is basically it's liberals dragging conservatives through history, like forcing them, because ultimately we do progress and evolve, and in general people are liberal, like with a small l, liberal. I'm not talking about politics in this way. I'm just talking about people people evolve in general. I mean, minus the politics,
Do we?
are liberal, right? And so,
Do we progress?
well, right, because we fight less wars, there's less, it's slow, but there is less and less racism, sexism, and homophobia over time. There is less and less. We do evolve. And especially with this generation being so oversensitive, I think they're like really the first
Right, but
true
that's the
step.
thing. I also feel like we have even if even if on a large scale maybe there's less, racism or poverty or what have you. I also feel like there's things, though, if you looked at our disadvantages, it would almost balance it out. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we should have evolved on that we haven't,
Like
which is
what?
why I don't feel like we're necessarily progressives.
Yeah, but you can't argue that over time we have progressed. I mean, it's just
We
inherent.
have progressed, but I would argue that there's been like regressions too in some ways.
I mean, not, yeah, there's always like
The way we
two
like
steps
convey
forward, two steps
ideas,
back.
I think, has arguably regressed. I think our communication would have been better had social media been handled a little bit differently.
Oh, you think our communicate? Well, right. That's just because of like social media is so new that it's like, you know, a toddler's wobbly legs, right? Like they're starting to walk, but they're fall
I mean,
down.
that's if
And
you're
that's what we're
sure
doing.
that it's going to get better and the toddler's not going to become a serial killer.
Right. Hopefully we're not creating a serial killer. I don't think we are, because in general humanity is not serial killers. So um it's going to work itself out with regulations and
Much because a lot of our movies are still kind of shitty.
no, I would say like if you look at the independent cinema, there's like a golden age of like a lot of good shit. Don't you think?
A golden
I
age of a lot of good shit. Don't you feel like there wouldn't like shit that's mainstream wouldn't be popular if people were like more progressed?
Right, but that's just not how it works, unfortunately. People are stupid. The general populace is are fucking idiots.
Because you're always like, you always think commercial cinema movies are stupid. Then have we really
In general,
progressed if
they
the general
are.
populace is fucking idiots though?
Well, right. That's why our progress is so slow. And what you're talking about, regression, like, right, for every 2 steps forward, there's 1 step back. So it's just slow, right? Because people are dumb. But in general, most people are not straight white males. And so they want to progress because status. And so
Hang on,
away
my
from
mom's
the
calling.
straight white male centric culture. So while Greg is on a phone call, I just want to, you know, regroup. No, I don't know. Um, I'm just being stupid because like we're trying to like be professional on a podcast, but you know, who knows like how much that's working out. It's fine, but you know, we're like we edit things and stuff, and so like I'm just giving you a little bit of behind the scenes because I don't think there's enough behind the scenes, you know, information on podcasts. You know, like you watch a movie and get the DVD and it's like, oh, here's the behind the scenes. But then it's like, oh, I really love that podcast, but it's like there's no behind the scenes, you know.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, hey, what's up, Greg? Okay, so do you know what I mean? Like there's since most people aren't benefiting from the status quo of the straight white male, most people are they want to progress. And so that I mean just in terms of social politics, but I think other policies will evolve as we evolve socially, right? Because
Can
the
you
policies
really say
are
we've progressed when we've destroyed the environment?
well, that's the thing is I think once we progress with social politics, that will give more people power who know that we have to fucking get some shit done with the environment. Right? Like,
So you're one of those idiots that thinks like poetry is gonna cure everything.
what? I didn't say that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're the one that's like, oh, if we were just like more in touch with our feelings, we'd be more open to ideas, and then we'd have solutions. What are you writing little
Well,
poems on
there
your?
actually is a truth to that. Why don't you think there's a truth to that?
Yeah. No, I think there could be. I just think like I just think you're being a dick about it.
What? Wait, why was I being a dick about it? What do you mean?
I just think you're gonna be like, well, my poems are so great. they're gonna save humanity.
What?
You think like
I don't know
your
where
poetry
you got that. I don't know where you got that from. All I'm saying
because
is,
it's true.
what are you talking about? I'm talking about
You're the one
social
art is such a
politics
big deal.
evolving.
I'm an art.
No, I'm talking about social politics. Once those evolve, then the policy side of things, the politics will evolve. Greg, are you
How
high?
long do you think that's gonna take? No.
Unfortunately, it takes a while, motherfucker, and it just sucks. But I think with this generation Z, I think evolved, and I think they're going to change some shit because
I hope so.
they're growing up and they're thinking like, dude, all these fucking old assholes are backwards. Once I get into Congress, this shit
Are you
fucking
are you
changed.
upset that we're not gonna see all the cool shit that the next generation's doing?
I think we'll see the start of it. I mean, I have like another whatever 60 years. That's pretty good.
60, you're gonna be 95.
Yeah,
All right.
why not?
Okay.
I mean, I just gotta like
You're just like, yeah, I think
start.
I'll give it a shot, you know.
I think I just have to start eating healthier so that I feel better once I get to that age.
Sure, sure.
Um, because if I continue with my current addiction of sugar, it's not going to happen.
You know, people actually had less uh tooth decay in the dark ages, and that was when they barely brushed their teeth because they didn't eat as much refined sugar as we did, even though their
Right.
dental hygiene was fucking shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I floss and brush and rinse. But okay, so you wanted to get into what kind of movies are you watching? And you're watching like World War II cinema?
Well, no, I was going to. I haven't yet. I watched the Disney film The Cat from Outer Space last night.
What year is that from?
It's from the 70s. It's when Disney made a
Oh,
lot of weird
cool.
live action movies that were, even though the Disney had a ton of money, or maybe they didn't at the time. I don't know what their financial
Oh,
situation
it's a
was.
live action?
Yeah, it's a live action. It's got a cat. Roddy McDowell's in it. Popular
Okay.
homosexual actor.
Oh, I forgot he was gay.
Yeah, at
Did
least I think he was. Google it.
when did he come out?
Uh,
Never, probably.
let's see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roddy McDowell.
Yeah, you look it up. But so yeah, what was that about? That
So a
cat?
cat comes from outer space. I'm sure you pieced that much together.
Okay.
They don't really explain if he's like disguised as a cat or if he's comes from a planet of other cats. So that's kind of
It's like an ET situation.
sort of, only the cat's a lot more helpful because he's like, I need gold to power my spaceship. And he's like, wait a second. And the guy's like, we could gamble on football games and you could just change the outcome of the game because the cat can move things with his mind. And a surprising chunk of the movie is them just cheating at gambling and taking people's money.
That's hilarious. So they just decided to use the cat's power
They
just
go to a
for
pool
winning
hall and
games.
they're like, where's the best pool player? And he's like, my girlfriend's going to beat you and play blindfolded. And the cat just alters the whole game to the point where it's like ridiculous that nobody thinks this cat's interfering. And he just like puts all the balls in the hole and everyone's like, I guess you won 100 grand. And I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever
So, but this
seen.
is a kids movie. Is the actors young or old?
They're adults in it. Like there's not anything like really offensive. It's like a movie for the family, but it's the
Wow.
70s, so they can still get away with like there's a character who just comes over and drinks beer. He doesn't do anything stupid like abuse his wife or anything. But still, it's still in like a Disney movie today, you wouldn't have a dude coming over who's just like, I'm gonna gamble and drink beer.
Right.
But in the
That's pretty
70s, it could
cool.
still be a pretty wholesome movie and have just like a couple of degenerates as like side characters.
Wow, that's amazing.
But then the last half of the movie is like these guys try to take the cat or something. I don't, but they're not the government. They're these other criminals or whatever, or Russian
That's
people.
hilarious. Just right, just like ET.
No,
Oh,
the government's not as big of assholes in this one, but there's like another agency that like tries to take the cat.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they like have the lady who's like the main love interest, and they're getting away with her on a plane. And the cat gets into an old broken down plane he finds on a farm, and the guy gets in too. And the cat turns the plane on with his mind, and the plane can fly again. And the cat's just flying a plane for like 20 minutes at the end.
Does does the cat talk or
Yeah, the cat talks, but
and it
it's a
moves its
voiceover.
mouth?
His mouth, no, his mouth doesn't move. It's all voiceover.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay. Yeah. It's funny how depending on the budget, um, because I'm sure it's like probably like $500,000 if you want the cat's mouth to move while he's
And
talking.
like it's like got a lot of the 70s like animation, so it's a lot of so when the cat wants to fuck with people, he just like picks them up and moves them around. So it's a lot of like really over the top Don Knotts-esque performances of people going like
Yeah.
not knowing they're floating around.
No, that's classic live action Disney in the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But then we watched The Living Desert, which was the documentary, one of the educational documentaries Disney made, and that actually won the Oscar for best documentary in 58, I think.
Okay.
And that's actually kind of cool the way it's edited, because it's a really informative nature documentary, but it still has a lot of like the Disney-esque touches. Like there's like Fantasia-esque like beats when you see like a lizard or a mouse come on screen. So it gives like the animals that it's filming a lot of character in kind of like a cartoony way. So it's an informative documentary, but it still feels like very much like a Disney production.
Did you say edibles in there? It sounded like
Edibles? No,
it sounded like you said edibles.
when?
I don't know, but that begs the question, like, were you on edibles during any of these screenings?
No, I had taken one earlier, but I think they had worn off. I was probably like still a little like drowsy and like loopy maybe, but I wasn't like feeling the effects too hard.
Where did you view these on the Disney Plus?
Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, cool.
You can look up lists of like there's a lot of obscure movies on Disney Plus that are weird that
Right, they just put
everyone's
their whole catalog on there, right? Like,
yeah, so like I want to watch Gus, that's got Don Knotts and a donkey.
oh, that's hilarious.
And they play football, so I want to watch Gus. I watched Flight of the Navigator. That was a pretty wacky one.
Yeah, I heard about that one, but completely forgot. I saw ones like something like Going to Witch Mountain or
Yeah,
something
that was
when I was a kid.
yeah, that was a 70s one. I remember that. And then they did a remake. But the one I want to watch that is on there is the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea with James Mason and Kirk Douglas, which I heard is actually pretty well made.
Oh, you never saw that?
No.
Yeah, my aunt always had that movie, and I probably saw it like a few times when I was younger. Um, all those like old Disney movies, like that one, and like yeah, like Love Bug, and like
Yeah.
um, what other ones were there?
There's like the sequel to the Shaggy Dog called the Shaggy DA, where the dog's like a cop. So I want to see
Yeah.
that.
Oh, Freaky Friday and Candle Shoe. Do you remember
What's
Candle Shoe with that's the other Jodie Foster Disney movie,
no.
and it was like this mystery. It's pretty good actually. Um, but yeah, that was like those are like the last movies she did before she did like basically shot right into adulthood with like Taxi Driver and like all those
Yep.
movies, crazy movies. Like, did you ever see Foxes?
No, what's that about?
Just these girls, like these rebellious girls, going out on the town and like, dodging guys who raping them and shit. The classic.
Raping guys?
No, got escaping guys trying to rape them. And then
Oh,
Laura
no.
Dern, it's one of her first, I think maybe her first like big, which wasn't a big role, but it was like kind of significant supporting role, where she's just like the girl who's like not old enough, but she wants to go with them. So she like, you know, sneaks out or something. And I don't know. It's
I want to.
really,
There's that, and there's the one where she's in a carnival.
oh yeah, Carney.
Yeah.
Yeah. Robbie Robertson did that music for that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he did the
Did you see
soundtrack.
it?
No, I just know that that's one of his credits.
So now we're just talking about movies none of us have seen.
I know it's crazy. Like looking up movies, like I know more
Oh,
about
Fox's is
movies that I
Adrian
haven't
Lin.
seen. What?
Fox's is Adrian Lin.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's not as sexual as his later movies.
Then I don't care.
But it's a little sexy.
All right.
But I
Scott
mean,
Bio's in it? Yeah, I doubt that.
what?
Scott Bio is in it? It can't be that sexy.
Yeah. No, but like they're
And Randy
just of
Quaid? There's no
age.
way that's sexy.
But the actresses in it, I don't know if they're like right below or 18 or above 18. So it would be kind of creepy if it was like really sexual. But it's just
That's
like
true.
like a teenage rebellion movie, like a coming of age type thing. I think they're portraying, some Me Too stuff in there, like what girls have to go through at that time.
So, what have been your favorite first time watches? The way my hair is like combed over because I need a haircut, but it's just like sitting on my head. I just look like fucking Rasputin. Uh,
What do you mean first time watches? Just
Movies you've seen for the first time
yeah, I mean,
into this year. What are some of your
oh, this
favorites?
year. Okay. Um, I can't even I'll go to my list because I make a list of things. Oh, Mank. I loved Mank.
I thought it was terrible.
Well, I just liked how it was a different perspective than like the that RKO 821 movie or
What was that one about?
281.
Yeah,
RKO 281, the HBO.
I've not seen it. That's the one with.
It's real. That one's really good too. It just it tells more. It is more of that like. It's basically see. It's funny. It's not like a cheap TV movie. It is a HBO movie, but it's not like a cheap TV movie. But it definitely, when you compare it to Mank, it is like the cheap TV movie
It
version.
looks like, yeah. Well, Mank was high concept.
Yeah, and so RKO 281 is still really good and interesting, but it definitely is that like, oh, this is definitely the made for TV version of this more intricate because they focus more on Orson Welles in RKO 281.
Right. I
And
got it.
Mank, obviously, they focus more on Mank, which is really more interesting perspective because that's really where the genius came from.
No, I
Orson
don't.
Welles is a genius as well, but
Yes.
he was genius for having Mank write the screenplay because he knew the inside story.
Yeah, but a lot of the previous attempts to make Mank seem like the unsung hero of the Citizen Kane story were kind of bullshit. So I feel like a lot of this narrative has kind of already been debunked. That Mank, I mean, yeah, Mank's input, his impact on the screenplay is not like deniable. But the idea that he was like the unsung hero of it was kind of like what Pauline Kael was trying to say in her essay, and then that all turned out to be just kind of bullshit.
You mean the Pauline Kael was BS? Or
Yeah, because she was trying to say that basically Orson Welles took all the credit for Mank's script, but that wasn't true because Orson Welles, based on like documents that they had, was making altercations to the script and was working with him pretty much every step of the way. There's even large chunks where Mank was
it's
working
like
on other
half and
projects.
half.
What's up?
So it's like half and half.
I mean, they're saying like it was still like they're to the point where like saying that like, oh, this was like Mank's thing is still like kind of disingenuous, even though Mank was the one who was kind of established in Hollywood, so that definitely helped Orson Welles being able to have, everything at his disposal. Was Mank was the one who was kind of like seasoned and had already been in Hollywood, but at the same time, they tried to have like this whole. I think she was just trying to have like this contrarian element because it was Citizen Kane had been like, I think it was like the 70s. So Citizen Kane had been like known as being a pretty popular movie at that point. It was probably already called the best movie ever. And I think Pauline Kael wanted to say like, no, here's the real story. And then Peter Bogdanovich and some other people were like, no, Wells definitely had a larger contribution to the script. He didn't just take all the credit. And that whole story ended up being bullshit.
Right, because it was more of, you're saying it was more of Manx
No,
input.
it was very just the point that like there's not a case to be made for saying like no, it's really like Mankiewicz's script. No, it's both their scripts.
Right, and so you're saying they were just being extreme. Both arguments were being too extreme, and the truth is that it was more collaborative.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say I'm mainly shutting down the argument that it was just Mank's thing. I'm not really saying both arguments were too extreme, but I'm saying the movie Mank makes it seem like, from what I can tell, that a lot of it is just stuff that like Mank was kind of witness to, and he picked up on it, and blah blah blah. And that's why the scene I feel like in Mank with him and Orson Welles, where Orson gets mad and throws all his liquor, feels like kind of out of place because I'm like, Welles has like barely been in this movie. I don't know where this is coming from. It just feels like, I don't know. It feels more like a lot of scenes Fincher, I think, wanted to do about the era, but I feel like it, I don't know, didn't really amount to anything.
Well, that's what's interesting about the Mank movie is that it's the original screenplay was David Fincher's father, but
Yeah.
then didn't people work on that screenplay like Eric Roth?
I don't know this story. Maybe one of us should have looked it up.
Yeah, it's well, because I thought it was just David Fincher's father. Yeah, is just the writer, the creditor, or the main, right, and then Eric Roth and that one producer, Sean Chafin, that David Fincher usually works with. They they're producers, but I think they were also script doctors, I assume,
Okay.
because Eric Roth doesn't usually produce things; he writes things.
What?
Yeah, he did a few series, and then Mank is the first movie he produced. So I'm guessing that they just wanted to give his father just as like kind of like a tribute, like we'll just give the father the full credit, but we'll kind of doctor the script, which is interesting because that's basically what they're saying happened with Citizen Kane, is that Mank wrote it and then Orson Welles kind of produced it and maybe like changed some things. Um, and so it's interesting. So Pauline Kael is saying that it was mostly Orson Welles.
No. Are you listening to anything I'm saying?
Just tell me based on what you said, I couldn't tell
No,
what you're
because
saying Pauline Kael's argument is.
the accepted thing at the time was that Citizen Kane is a big deal. Orson Welles made this. He's amazing. And her whole thing was basically just trying to take Welles down a peg by saying, no, it's actually all Herman Mankiewicz's work.
Oh, okay. Because then there was arguments where she got that information from something where then some guy was trying to criticize her for taking all the credit for this information theory or whatever, but then she, in terms of her like long article she wrote about it, she didn't credit the right people, so then that was a whole nother,
I guess so.
funny story, because it's a story about credit that wasn't credited itself,
Sure.
which is interesting. Like, I don't know,
It is.
it's funny, like, and it just, there's all these layers of like who's right, who's guessing, who wrote it, who didn't. And it's like, you don't fucking know what's what now.
I guess not.
It's all becomes like a mythology of
Sure
like if you had a video camera for everything that happened in, what was it called, San Simeon, and you were
Where?
to actually to compare it, the true story, to what's in the movie, I'm sure it would be like completely different. Same
Why?
thing if you had
Yeah.
like a video camera on Jesus Christ,
Yes.
everybody would be like, oh shit, I don't believe that anymore.
I guess
Because
so.
I don't know, it's weird. Like, people like to just hype stuff up and like mythologize things because our lives are so boring that like
Yeah.
we need these myths to like entertain us.
Agreed.
And so we hype shit up and make it exciting, because like what's that old saying, like don't ruin a good story with the truth.
Exactly.
um yeah, it's weird, like, because now it's like I'd be interested to know where David Fincher's father got the whole behind the scenes story from, or if he kind of just fabricated it as well.
Well, it's interesting because Fincher's video he made for Madonna has like references to Citizen Kane.
Oh, the Oh Father video, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because they're film people who are obsessed with like good movies.
Right.
um but yeah, I what was David Fincher's father like, what did he do for a living? Oh, he was a journalist,
There you
like
go.
Life magazine. Oh, that one producer, Sean Chafin, is like their relative.
That's really something.
Oh no, duh. It's David Fincher's wife. That's right. His wife is his producer, like kind of like Emma and Christopher Nolan.
His wife is his producer.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan's wife, Emma something. It's like Emma Thomas, or no?
I feel like that's kind of a pussy ass move.
Why?
It's like, it's my producer. She's my wife.
Well, they're a team, like the Coen brothers. Right,
You
they
have
just
to cut
trust
the.
their family,
You're gonna
right?
have to
I
cut
don't
that
know.
part out. Like, too much of the pussy assness.
Tell me about the Joseph von Sternberg movies.
I think we're at a good point. I
Okay.
was watching Dishonored. I hadn't seen that one. Pretty good.
What is it about?
Most of his movies don't really have plots.
Oh, they're all character?
They're like
Pretty
very,
cool.
very light on plot. Like this is like
So they're very European.
she's a even though it was shot in with the Hollywood studio, yeah, I think so.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think it's a lot of just like atmosphere and decadence. And Sternberg himself said, I don't really care about stories. I only kind of care how it's showcased and lit.
That's amazing because you never see movies like that back then. Movies that are old are all about the plot.
It depends on the period. I mean, that's a big generalization, but yeah.
Yeah, but I can't think of one movie that's about character that is like that old. Right? These
I
movies
think
from the 30s,
pre-code
40s.
movies kind of run that way. A lot of screwball comedies, I think, are more about character.
Right, and just like slapstick stuff happening.
Yeah.
Wait, so what other character driven old movies are there? I can't even think.
I don't know. Like fucking James Cagney movies are character driven. They're not really. They're the plot's very loose in a lot of those.
I guess I've only seen like Public Enemy, Yankee Doodle. um,
Not that one.
I've seen what else? Oh, White Heat.
Yeah.
That was good.
I mean, I guess the plot is kind of relevant in that one, but they're more like Cagney's the draw. Like,
There's still a story though. So this movie Dishonor, you said Dishonor.
Dishonored, yeah.
What is the, you know,
She's
it's
basically undercover as a prostitute for Austria, like looking for spies. She's like
okay,
a glamorous one, so she's very dolled up. But there's just whole sequences of her, like, it's just like as stylized as it gets.
like a femme fatale,
Yeah, but
but
like
like
hyped up. Like there's one where she's
the
at like
flip
a mask,
side of a femme fatale.
almost like
Like,
not a femme fatale because it's just very like out in the open and just like very in your face versus being like kind of slippery.
okay, interesting.
But there's one episode where she's wearing like not episode sequence where she's wearing what looks like a full blown like almost like a Lady Gaga costume. It's just like all black, including like a
A
mask thing.
Marlene chick.
Yes, with like feathers and shit. Yeah,
Right, that whole box set is them, right? She
yeah,
stars in all them.
yeah.
Did he act back then or just in Sunset Boulevard? Oh
He's
no,
not
that's Eric von
Eric von Stroheim.
Stroheim.
Yeah,
That was a different director, right?
yep,
Oh, I get them mixed up.
yep.
That's hilarious. Um, wait, so um, Joseph von Sternberg, he never acted, did he?
I don't think so. He
Oh,
was a dick to Peter Bogdanovich when he interviewed him, so that's something.
what do you think happened there?
Nothing. I just think he was just a kind of a prick.
Like he wouldn't answer his questions?
No, he was just like Bogdanovich asked him something. He's like, what a stupid question that was. He's
Oh,
like, only an idiot would have asked me that.
that's funny.
And Bogdanovich was like, he's like, he was very abrasive. He's like, but I still appreciated him.
Yeah. I think some people like get in a bad mood and then yeah, they'll be triggered by like a question they've been asked a million times. Like there's that interview with Mick Jagger when he's really pissed off because somebody asks him for the millionth time, like, why do you guys keep doing this? And it's
Yeah.
like it's our job. Like, why do you keep fucking doing your job? What kind of stupid question is that? What else am I
Yeah.
gonna do? Like, yeah, it's stupid. Like,
What am I gonna do? Sell fucking churros?
but I think they kept getting that dumb question because first of all, a lot of journalists, I guess, are lazy,
Yeah.
and also, um, they're like the only band that ever lasted that long.
Yeah. Everyone
So,
else has
like,
been
a
a bunch of
better question would have been
bitches.
like, what do you think makes your band different from all these other bands that broke up? Like, is it about you guys that keeps you together? And why are other bands breaking up after 10 years? Like, that would have been a better question, but people are stupid. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I think we covered a lot of important stuff.
Oh shit, that's hilarious because
It is. It is. It is.
yeah, I think we're just pop culture junkies who have to like vent our worthless information.
All right. Well, this wasn't terrible.
Okay. I think it would be entertaining to people just to see like how weird we are, maybe.
All right. Maybe.
Because like I'm this like, like egghead, like weirdo who's like
Ugly. No, I'm kidding.
no, but then you're like in this like dark room ready to like, do your next seance for your cult or something.
All right. Fair enough. I'll take it. It's not the worst thing anyone
No,
said.
but like it looks like you're about to like drink some Kool-Aid, like literally.
And I'm gonna die. Yeah.
Oh shit, okay. That's that's funny. I guess it's just the beard. It's very,
It's
James.
very cult. It's very cult leader esque.
Yeah, it's very Jonestown Massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
Motherfuckers are gonna die.
there was like a cult movie I wanted to see on Netflix.
I watched Midsummer. I like that.
It was good.
I was a fan.
People compared it to that other movie we were talking about,
The Wicker
Wicker
Man.
Man. Was it like Wicker Man?
I feel like there was definitely some visual inspiration taken from it. Yeah,
Like countryside
like folk horror. Yeah.
twigs and
Yep.
stuff. Okay, cool. And it has that same, not the same thing, but the same, I guess, mechanical or storytelling mechanism of the twist ending.
Sort of. I don't feel like it's a really abrasive like twist ending. It kind of like builds
But
to
it's a
it.
surprise.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm gonna watch Mascots because I didn't realize that freaking movie came out. Like I wait for all of Christopher Guest's movies to come. Like I waited for all the other ones to come out. Then I just missed Mascots somehow.
What's the matter with you?
Did you watch it?
No, my friend told me I'd really like it though.
Have you seen a lot of Christopher Guest?
I feel like
Like
I've seen most of the big ones.
yeah, like Waiting for Guffman, Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, For Your Consideration, and then he did the Family Tree series on HBO, and then Mascots.
I wanted to see Family Tree.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So
All
yeah, I'm
right.
gonna go back to Mascots. So um it was fun, Greg. So we'll do it again.
We'll do it
And
again.
we'll develop our conversational skills.
Of course. All right. Have a good night,
Okay.
man.
See ya.